Hello and welcome back to the Bottom Bins podcast, the number one football podcast in the world, as voted for by the three men in this room.
Yeah,
Glad to be back up at the studio then today, lads.
definitely. We're without Owen today, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely glad to be in the studio.
Yeah, 100%.
Coursework deadlines and tests and not a particularly fun time
No,
at the minute. But
definitely not.
look, we've plenty of Premier League action to cover today. Quite some strange results this weekend, wasn't there, lads?
Yeah, a few shocks.
Few shocks, big time. So I think we may as well just start at the biggest shock of them all. City couldn't get 3 points against Everton, and every week this season, we have said Everton are a poor outfit, and they sort of at times and at periods in the game they actually looked like they could have beaten City. They definitely had some decent chances within the game. Look, I said it a couple of weeks ago, lad. I do think that you can get at City, and I don't think they're as strong defensively as people make them out to be. Look, what do you think, Warren? What's your take on Man City and Everton then?
I thought it was a good contest. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting City to come out all guns blazing, and honestly, I was expecting a 5 or 6-0. But as you said, when you actually attack at City, they show a bit of weakness. And I thought Ben Godfrey kept Holland quiet. I think he got into his head, and that's what you need to do for someone who's in such good form. He got into his head. You could see Holland making imitations and stuff to the camera. Whenever he got tackled, he was jeering the Everton fans. And that could be a key now for defenders in the Premier League when they're going up against Erling Haaland.
I just wind him up.
Even you've seen the tackle he made as well.
Yeah,
You could
tackling
He
him,
should-
which was purely out of frustration.
could have been in the right yard.
He shouldn't have been on the pitch.
No, it was a red card offence.
Yeah.
So it shows that you can get at Erling Haaland. He is human. But look, he scored another goal. It was a good goal by City. But it was completely overshadowed by an absolutely amazing strike from Demarai Gray. We've seen him do it before. He's definitely got it in his locker at least once a season.
Yeah, at least once a season.
Demarai
Yeah.
Gray is going to score worldly.
Definitely.
And play well. But no, look, I think for Everton fans especially, they can take hope from that performance. Against one of the title contenders. It was a great performance, and hopefully Everton can keep playing like that against the teams that are closer to them in the table, because that's the results that are going to matter for Everton. It doesn't matter if they beat Man City and then go and lose on Forest.
Yeah.
They need to be winning the games with those closer around them if they want to step off that relegation pedestal completely. But definitely something to take hope for Frank Lampard and the Everton fans.
Yeah, I think that's completely true, Owen. Everton have been a bit of a strange side under Lampard, Connor. Obviously, they've pulled out some massive results under Lampard, but I think the one thing you would say about them is that they just haven't been consistent. What's your take on them then? Do they realistically match up? Could they be relegated this year?
Yeah, I always thought, Everton at the back are very strong. Cody Tarkowski was unbelievable. I thought he was the man of the match. Patterson's been very good this season too. Pickford had a great game. But it's just going to be their attacking. I know they did score an absolute worldly, but it feels like that's the only way they're going to score, because they only had one shot on target. I know they're away to Man City, but even if you've seen the game against Wolves, they weren't clinical enough. But credit to them, that's a massive result. I thought they'd lose 4 or 5-0. I thought that was like the banker of the weekend. Man City would win that game. But yeah, they got in City's faces and they frustrated them. And as Orm was saying, the frustrated Holland. De Bruyne had another. He was quiet, and also his tackle was, don't know if you've seen it, but it could have been a red card offence too. It was brutal in the second half. But yeah, City hit the post, could have been 2-0 up. Probably that would have been game over. But you got to give credit to Everton. Pickford played very well as well. So but that's back to back drop points at home now for City.
Yeah.
So, and Arsenal are building up a bit of a lead, so
exactly.
the pressure's on now.
Exactly.
And City are just going to have to improve and play Chelsea away next. So
I found the last few times I've watched City, I found City to be real lackluster.
Yeah.
Even in build up, that sort of first and second phase of build up that they're renowned for being so good at. I've found City to be really, really slack in that department, and I don't know. I don't know whether it's necessarily their playing out from the back has been sloppy, but I like Akanji as a defender. I think he's very competent and a decent defender. I don't think he's that great with the ball at his feet, and I actually find when Akanji plays, it actually slows City down too much. I know City are known for keeping the ball, taking the sting out of the game and working opportunities around you, but I've just found that Akanji's come in and I don't think he's been a great fit for City in that regard in terms of playing out with the ball. I think as a defender he's absolutely excellent. I just don't know if he suits that sort of style of football that City like to play. And look, it's Guardiola can coach it into him. That's just at the current moment in time. I'm just not sure if City's first and second phase build-up play is anywhere near where it has been in the last few years.
Yeah, but look, City can switch it on at any time, and it wasn't their best 11. Like, they're not starting Cancelo. They didn't start Foden. They didn't start Walker.
But that's the point I was going to make as well. Like, Pep waits too long to make subs as well. Like, he made 3 subs in the 87th minute, and he's had that before. He just doesn't make the substitutions. Like, how is Foden not getting in that team? Which is, as you were saying, like, they're struggling. They're not creating as much as well. So, I think Pep needs to make the changes quicker if it's not going well, which he doesn't do.
City don't have to worry. Like, City are still going to be fighting for that title this year.
Oh, definitely.
Like, they do this every year. They have a few results that just don't go their way, and people like us always say, look, could City really be out of the title race and stuff like this? But realistically, it's a different form. They didn't lose the game. Still got a point from it. It's what City do, and they'll bounce back.
Yeah, I suppose if they had been beaten 1-0, it would be a different story, obviously. But I completely agree with you, Oren. City do sort of have these periods in a season where, like for say 3-4 games in a row, they look absolutely brutal, and still manage to sort of grind out some sort of results. It's far too early to count City out of the title race yet.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, everybody keeps saying, when's Arsenal going to Arsenal it? And they haven't so far. And just with how tight City and Liverpool have kept it in recent years, it seems as though you've no off days anymore. You know, you have to be at the top every game you play, or as close to the top every game you play. And at the minute, I just think City's a bit off it.
Yeah, well, Liverpool looked like that last season. They were something like 11 points off City at one stage, and look, they brought down to the final day.
Yeah.
They won 16 in a row last year.
Yeah, won 16 in a row. And they brought down to the final day, and at points of the final match day of the season, Liverpool were going to win the league.
Yeah.
But it's just what City are liable to do as well. They're liable to go and win 16 games in a row. Do you know what I mean?
And they play Arsenal twice.
Yeah,
so they'll have an opportunity to...
And both them games are 6-pointers.
Oh,
You're
right there. You're right there. You're right there.
Will we move on to Arsenal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great result for Arsenal. 4-2 over Brighton. We all thought it was going to be a tough game for Arsenal. Brighton's playing very well. De Zerbi doing a great job at Brighton. And look, I didn't think Brighton played bad at all. I thought it was a very, very good game.
No,
and I think Brighton can take a lot of promise from their performance. Well, Richie, what did you think about it? Arsenal are the top contenders. They have to be.
I keep saying it every week. They're just so good. And they are an absolute joy. They're an absolute joy to watch. They have such talent in that starting 11. And what I love about Arteta, I did an article for the Bottom Bids website the other day. Please check it out. And I was just analysing Arsenal and giving my own personal opinions on them. And what I like about Arteta is his profiling of transfers has been absolutely excellent. And he's bought players that have come in and settled immediately, because the style of play that Arsenal play only works to the strengths of the players that he has. He knows his players' strengths and weaknesses. He's that in-depth tactically with what his players can do and what they can't do, that every sort of pattern of play that they have, it just suits everybody that's on the pitch. The only thing that concerns me about Arsenal is whenever we talk about the lack of squad depth, City in every position have 2 players that come in and can play the one position, and it doesn't change their style of play.
They're first team players.
Exactly. like if Grealish plays, City can still play the exact same way. If Mahrez plays, they can still play the exact same way. If Bernardo Silva plays, they play the exact same way. Like their style of play doesn't change because they have the players that can carry that out. I feel like whenever Arsenal need to make changes, their style of play has to change. There has to be a drop off in performance because the guys on the bench just aren't the same as the guys who are currently on the pitch.
You've seen that, like even when Brighton came back.
Yeah.
They just when they made the substitutions when they were 3-0 up Arsenal, the definitely the performance
They dipped a bit. They did dip a bit. That's the only thing that concerns me with Arsenal. But look, Martin Odegaard is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He is absolutely ridiculous. That goal, oh my God.
Yeah.
And the pass from Martinelli.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He's crazy good. Like.
Well, he's showing why Arteta made him the captain. And there's another player who you love, Richie, and he performed excellent again, Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, just a serious. Oh, man, when did Arsenal get this good? Like, when did this creep up on us? Like,
Yeah. Just full of confidence.
so full of
They
confidence.
just don't look like they're going to lose, to be honest. But Saka's been unbelievable this season. I think he's 6 goals, 6 assists. Like his finish, it was so early in the game, 66 seconds. Just that touch, finish. Just been unbelievable this year. And then Martinelli, another great talent. And Nketiah's came in and played well.
Nketiah was really, really good again.
Yeah.
I think
again Brighton.
Partey's been very good for Arsenal too.
Yeah.
Even for the first goal, he intercepted the ball.
Yeah.
I think people are forgetting about that. I do think Arsenal do, as I say, have a bit of weakness as well. I think Ramsdale is a bit dodgy at times. I was disappointed. I think Zinchenko, you can get at him. Saliba obviously made a few mistakes, but they're so good going forward, and their midfield has improved greatly. Like Partey, Odegaard, and Xhaka has been. I think Arteta told him basically, you need to improve attacking wise if you're going to stay in this team, and he has done it. Like,
well, look, you're talking about Partey and Xhaka there. Once one of them comes off the pitch, it's always Mohamed Elneny that comes on. Look, Elneny's not a bad footballer. He's done his job in the Premier League, but that there's a massive drop off between Xhaka and Elneny and between Partey and Elneny.
Yeah.
So, one crucial injury. Do you think it could change their season, Dorman?
Definitely, it could. It could. It probably, like, that's the thing about Arsenal. Their squad's definitely not as strong as City, but they are trying, I think, to get that City approach, 2 players in every position. But I think it's just came so quickly how good they've got, because I was thinking maybe next season they could be not title contenders, but up there. But yeah, if they lose one of them players, that's probably why they're trying to get an attacking player in as well, just in case there's an injury.
And again, sorry to cut across you, Connor. If they do get Mudryk offers them something completely different. Mudryk is not the type of player, like all of Arsenal's forwards get involved in the build-up play. Mudryk's not that player at all.
He just run.
Mudryk is not. He is in the lowest 1% for passes completed in the Champions League. He's in the lowest 1% for link-ups with teammates in the Champions League. Mudryk is not an Arsenal-style player. He is literally the runner in behind. That is his sole thing. And he forces... The good thing about Mudryk is, though, and the thing I really like about him is... teams that like to play a high line are going to have to sit 5-10 yards deeper now whenever Mudryk's on the pitch. And for the last 20 minutes, if he's happy to come in and play that role, come in and play the last 20 minutes. If Arsenal are desperate for a goal and they need to change it up a bit, Mudryk's exactly the guy they need to go to then. High lines have to drop another 10 yards to cope with his pace for a start. And he's going to be like a Haaland type player where it's a fear factor. People are going to see him come off the bench, and they're going to, defenders are going to have to be on their toes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because he will burn any defender in this league and burn them by a serious amount. So he offers them something completely different. I still think the price is too high. Yeah. But if Arteta's desperate to get him, the Arsenal board probably will just go out and buy him.
Well, that's it. And can they really go against him the way he's performing this season?
Yeah.
No.
But they can't really go against his judgment.
I do think Arsenal do need a midfielder, though. I think they were looking at Douglas Luiz in the summer, and Tielemans. Maybe Tielemans could be a shout as well. But
both available in free transfers this summer.
So they've got a good chance of getting them.
Yeah. What about Brighton then? Look, they scored 2 good goals. We've seen their youngest ever Premier League scorer, Evan Ferguson, come on, and he body checked Saliba for the goal. It was a great finish. Matoma playing well again. He was unlucky to have his 3rd goal disallowed. But definitely promise in that Brighton squad, Richie.
Yeah, look, Brighton are very good. That's why this result so big for Arsenal, because Brighton's one of the top teams. Like Brighton's a top 8 team in the Premier League. No questions asked. Look, they've had a fantastic season, and they have really been rolling from strength to strength. I wouldn't be too disheartened if I was a Brighton fan right now. Look, they are a really, really well coached and well oiled machine, so I wouldn't be panicking too much just because you get beat by the league leaders.
And they're missing their two best
Their two
midfielders,
star players, yeah.
Casado and
And McAllister,
McAllister.
you know.
McAllister back today. I seen a video of it this morning. It was class.
But that's, look, like, Brighton and Hove Albion have a World Cup winner,
They do.
and fair play to them.
And they have plenty of players in the World Cup as well.
Exactly, and that they have to have one of the best recruitment departments in the
Yeah.
Premier League. They have to. They get their transfers are always they always get it right.
Yeah, they never miss.
They don't miss.
Yeah.
They don't miss, and it doesn't matter what price the player comes in at. It could be a 2 million player or a 20 million player. Those players come in and they suit the system, and they will have an impact. And I think the way a lot of people maybe panicked for Brighton when Potter left, I didn't, because they're just such a well-oiled football club. Yes, they lost their entire coaching staff, but like De Zerbi and Potter aren't that far away from one another. Like De Zerbi's a really, really good coach too.
Yeah.
Brighton are a good side, and they're going to be a good side for the next few years. They're a fantastically run football club, and it's hard not to like them.
Definitely. No, look, when I seen that video this morning, they all welcome back Alexis McAllister, and he had the World Cup trophy with him and stuff. And all I was seeing was a proper United squad, and like all of them, they were all giving him a big hug, and it just showed me that they're proper teammates.
Yeah.
There's no individuals in that team. No. Even though Alexis McAllister has just won the World Cup, he's not going to come back and be Alexis McAllister in Brighton's team. He's going to be in Brighton's team. He's going to be a team player.
Yeah.
Um,
Although you would say, I completely agree with you, Oren, but I think McAllister has now put himself on a different pedestal to those other boys.
oh yes, no, I'm not saying
at
that.
Brighton.
I just mean he's not going to come in and let the ego get the better of him, because that's not the type of
Not that type of
players
player.
that Brighton recruit as well.
Yeah.
And I think Brighton need to take a lot of credit from that.
Definitely.
So we'll move on to the next name, Connor.
Yeah, I want to go to this one next, if you don't mind, lads. I want to go to Fulham and Southampton. We didn't really get to talk about Fulham last week, and Mitrovic had such a fantastic performance last week. We sort of had to speed it on, but they are going under the radar this season. Not a lot of people talking about them, and they have been absolutely excellent. They are just going from strength to strength. The thing I'm surprised about the most, lads, is anytime Marco Silva's been in the Premier League, he's done well for a few months here and there, but I don't think we've ever seen this sort of consistency from him. Because I always thought Silva was a decent manager, but I never would have classed him as like,
7th in the Premier League.
exactly. He was never that type of manager to me, because the one thing I always remembered about Silva's Everton was they were so bad at the back. They were
And at Watford, they were so bad at the back.
so bad at the back.
So attacking.
They were lovely to watch going forward, but by God, like if teams crossed the halfway line, they could have scored 6 or 7 past them. Like, whereas now it's like the balance is completely right. Connor, what do you think of Fulham then?
Yeah, I didn't see this coming, to be honest with Fulham. They've just been superb this season. Even players like Willian, they got in, on free, I think it was, and he's been a great player. But I think their best player is Polina. He was superb again. 20 million from Sporting Lisbon. Like, that is probably the signing. That is unbelievable how he went under the radar. I think we've
that's
spoken
it,
about
like,
it in the past, how
yeah.
good his stats are. And then again, their game against Southampton, he was the main man. Fulham probably didn't play as well as they have been this season. I thought Mitrovic was a bit quiet. He missed a penalty. But they ground out the result, and they got a late winner. Good header by Polina, and Pereira as well has been superb this season. And at United, I did not see this player, because I thought at United he was very poor. Didn't really, even when he played, he didn't really do much. But he's such a confident player. Like, he whipped in the corner for the goal. Even he got a bit of luck with a deflected goal, but he's taking the shots. And 25 points in 17 games. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. And
No.
they're 7th in the Premier League, and they're giving teams some serious problems.
Yeah, they really, really are. They're nice to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Play
are.
some lovely football.
But
And
even like defensively, they're a bit better, as you said.
They are,
I remember
yeah.
like Marco Silva's team, if they went away, like Watford team went away to City, and be like 7-8-0.
yeah,
But now they're a bit more astute, and they're top 10 definitely, maybe even better than that.
Look, they've got the recruitment right.
they have.
And we're used to seeing in the last couple of years, if we were to see a Fulham and Southampton fixture, it is one of them fixtures that we would gloss over because it's a relegation battle fixture, and it always has been. But this is a side that is now 7th in the Premier League. They're doing really well. They've got a good core of their defence. I think, is it Tim Ream?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think he's very good.
this year.
And then Issa Diop, he's always been a decent defender in the Premier League. Like, so he was always going to be a good signing. You touched on the player that I wanted to talk about, and it's Andreas Pereira. Like at United, I always loved Pereira, and I didn't think he was a great footballer by any stretch, but I always loved him.
Yep.
And I just thought at United he was being played out of position, and now we're seeing him.
What was it? He was a 6 under Mourinho.
He was playing as a 6.
Like that's crazy.
Him and Fred were playing as pivot midfielders, and that's ridiculous for any side, let alone one of the biggest clubs in the world. But now he's being played in his natural position. We're seeing him have stormer after stormer every week. And he's got that confidence because he's got a great striker in front of him. He's got good wingers either side of him. Deco Reed's playing very, very well for Fulham this season too.
Very good.
But I'm really, really glad to see Andreas Pereira play so well. I wanted to see him succeed after he left Manchester United on a permanent. And I'm glad he's doing so. He's showing people what he can actually do, and he's showing people that he actually is Brazilian.
Yeah.
But see, like with Southampton as well, I actually thought they were a bit better, but I think they're in serious trouble because they're not scoring goals. And like even in that game, I've seen the highlights, and Shea Adams missed a great chance 1-on-1. Should have been 1-0.
Typical.
You know,
Shea Adams should not be playing in the
he's
Premier
our top.
League. Like,
he's our top scorer, 4 goals.
but he is brutal. Like.
Yeah.
He can't finish.
No.
The only way Southampton seem to score is Ward-Prowse free kicks.
Yeah.
He scored 15 free kicks in his Premier League career, and you know
He's
is their only really good player.
Yeah.
You know, like you have players like El Nusi, you know, like not a bad player, but he's not
going to bring you up the table.
He's not in the Premier League quality bracket,
No.
and they're very young as well, and
You can see what they're. You can see their model. You can understand what they're trying to do. It was bring in youth so that you can develop it and sell it on for a much, much bigger fee.
they've always been a selling club as well.
Always have. But look, and it's a real shame because I like Nathan Jones. I really like him as a coach. And I sort of think he has been shafted a wee bit with this job because they were always going down. Like they're just a bad side. They're just poor in a lot of positions. Like I really liked Bazunu. But he's
the last game against the previous game he was terrible. I know he saved the penalty this game, but
he's hard to watch, to be honest.
their backline's terrible too.
Oh.
Look, there's a reason all these major talents, quotation marks, were let go from City.
Yeah.
To go to Southampton. Like they were big talents and they are good prospects and they still are because they're still so young. But Man City wouldn't have let Bazunu go or the likes of Lavia and stuff go if they didn't think they were good enough to play for Manchester City.
Like you see your boy Lewis is now starting for
Yeah.
City, and he's a good player, and he's only like 18, 19.
Exactly.
So they
And I
didn't
do
let
think
him go.
Lavia could have played for City, but Bazunu didn't have a chance at City.
No.
And for them to go, like he was playing for Portsmouth last season, to go from Portsmouth straight into the Premier League at
League One.
20 is a serious
step up,
jump.
like.
So Southampton maybe just didn't get it right this summer. I think they were trying to buy players for the future, whereas Southampton need players right now because they're in no position to be looking about the future whenever they're facing relegation every year.
Definitely.
We move on.
Yeah. Go to
Spurs maybe.
Go to Spurs, yeah.
Dreadful.
Where do you begin? Like seriously, where do you begin?
10 games in a row conceding first.
That's mad.
They're bad.
We said every week they're going to concede first. You just know it's going to happen, and I think it's 4 losses in 7 now, and they're just horrible to watch. And did you see Harry Kane didn't get his first touch in the match till the 19th minute?
Serious.
Like that's Son's been very poor this season too, and then at the back and then a Lloris mistake.
Shambles.
Lloris mistake as well. Lloris, like we were saying throughout the World Cup, we were kind of like he has a mistake in him, which he does. I think this is his third. This season that's led to a goal, which is like a league high. But Spurs are just atrocious. And then you see Conte come out after the game and he's like, I need more players. I need 13, 14 strong players, and then I need 60, 70 million pound signings every year. It's just probably a shot at Daniel Levy.
Yeah, the best for Spurs is 5th, 6th, 7th,
Crazy.
8th. Look, I think Conte is probably the biggest talking point at the minute around Spurs because, look, there's a 2-year contract being touted at the minute. If he signs it, I can see him getting backed in January. If he doesn't, I think the club are right not to back him. Why would... Because what's Conte going to do? He's going to bring 29 and 30-year-olds in because that's what he does. That's his transfer policy. He brings well-established footballers into teams that he knows can come in and do a certain job. That's always been Conte's policy. I think the major thing that comes to mind when we talk about Conte is same thing that comes to mind when we talk about Jose Mourinho. He hasn't changed his style of play from it was successful, and now it's easy to play against systems that Conte deploys. Like, this is a man that's meant to be known for his tactical prowess, but it's the Chelsea from 2017 and Spurs of 2022, 2023 now, sorry, are the same team. They play the exact same brand of football, except, well, the only difference is the quality of players is different.
Their backlines.
The two
All over the
backlines
shop.
are completely different.
Yeah.
The midfield's completely different as well. Like, Spurs don't hold a candle to that Chelsea side in that regard in
Yeah.
terms of player quality, but it's the same style of football. I don't know if Spurs' players can execute what Conte wants them to execute. I don't think they're good enough, to be completely honest. They're so lacklustre in so many positions that... And it was weird, like, after the summer of spending that Spurs had, I had them as title contenders.
Like, definitely. Like, some of that has to go down to the coaching. Like, the one example that I'm going to talk about is Yves Bissouma. Bissouma was one of the best players in the Premier League when he was playing for Brighton. And whenever he went to Spurs for like 25 million, we were all thinking, how have they let him go for 25 million? And now he's an absolute shadow of himself.
Well, to be fair, he is still putting up... His underlying numbers are still fantastic. I think
He actually was a miss though, because I think he was suspended for this game.
he was.
And
He was.
they were missing Bentancur as well.
Yeah.
And like their biggest miss is definitely Kulusevski. Without him, they're just...
They don't create.
They don't create anything.
They
I think
don't
it's
create,
like
like-
8 games he's played this season in the Premier League, they've
Yeah.
0 losses, and the 9 he didn't play, the 5 losses.
Yeah.
They
He
cross
is
the
key.
halfway line and they shit themselves. Like, they don't know what to do with the ball. Like, they really, really don't.
And players look to shadow themselves. Like Son looks
Son's
like no
terrible.
confidence, and he's
Son's terrible at the
like
minute.
even
like.
did you see at the end, like he tried to take a touch, like an easy touch, and it just went straight through him, and you're like, that man has no confidence.
None.
The problems seem to start at the fullback positions for Spurs, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Emerson.
I think Perisic's a great player,
Yeah.
but he shouldn't be playing left wing back. Not in the back five, in my opinion, because they're centre backs. Look, Romero's great.
Yeah, but Romero's the only
Longley
great
is-
Exactly.
Longley's
centre
not
back
good.
that they
Exactly.
have.
Longley's not.
Dyer's
He's
good.
not up there because, like, why would Barcelona let you go on
Longley,
loan?
Longley is all right as a backup option,
Yeah.
but he
Shouldn't have started.
But he shouldn't be starting.
No.
Same as Eric Dyer. Dyer's all right as a backup option and for rotation or whatever. But these boys shouldn't be starting for Spurs. Romero needs 2 other top quality centre backs
Yeah.
to partner him. That's why when we were talking about Gavardi the other day, like he like if he come into Spurs' defence, he would make them 10 times better.
Yeah.
I think Spurs need to switch to a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Conte will not do that because of his system, as we've said. Like, he's just not willing to change what he thinks is still successful.
Spurs need bodies in midfield. That's the problem. They're getting
Oh.
killed in midfield every game.
Douglas Luiz and Kamara looked unbelievable yesterday. They were just running. The
And I'm
show.
not being funny,
And like,
but Douglas Luiz and Kamara are not that good.
yeah,
They shouldn't be made to look as good as what they did
I
yesterday.
think even
Like,
Emery came out after the game and was like, he couldn't believe how good.
how good to play.
Because that had not been.
You're always
happening.
going to get overrun in midfield, though, when you're only playing 2 midfielders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
But that's the
always
thing.
going to get run over
How
in midfield.
plays 2 midfielders now?
doesn't happen.
The system's dead. Nobody plays 2 midfielders anymore because you're like the game is won in midfield.
And they think they're going to be, like, if they do get overrun midfield, we've got 5 defenders, but sure, 2 of them's halfway up the pitch. And they're not as good defensively as they are offensively.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, you've got your midfielders who are getting beat. Then they've probably got 3 attackers in front of them, or 2 attackers in front of them, who are going to be up against 3 centre-backs with only one of them good enough to be starting in the Premier League.
But you see, if you watch Spurs defensively, when they do get caught on the counter and they do get caught in transition, the 2 midfielders actually drop in and become a right wing back and a left wing back. So that leaves an absolute mountain of space in the middle,
Yeah.
and that's where teams kill them.
You seen that yesterday with their second goal? Like again, just like straight through the middle. Douglas Luiz just walked
It's
through.
like butter through
Took
knife.
it. It was so easy how Douglas Luiz just takes a wee touch in the or 10-yard box or whatever and just taps it in.
That's it.
Great finish.
It was a good finish.
It was a great finish,
It
but
was
look
a
how
great finish.
easy that was.
And look,
That's
I'm,
dreadful.
I'm taking nothing away from Villa here. Villa were very good
Very good,
yesterday.
yeah.
They were really, really, really good yesterday. Created some good chances. And like, honestly, if Ollie Watkins could put anything on
He
target,
was very good, yeah.
Watkins would be a really good striker, because I think he's a good player, but I think he's like a level below like Tony.
Yeah.
And he's that level below Tony because he doesn't hit the back of the net as often as
Yeah.
what Tony does. He just doesn't have that same sort of
Prowess.
finishing ability
Yeah.
that Tony has. But take nothing away, Villa were excellent yesterday.
Yeah, brilliant performance. Like Unai Emery, he's doing a great job with Villa. He's getting results against big teams.
That's 3 wins in 4 now, and he's beaten
He's beaten Spurs,
United.
and there was somebody else
Brighton.
as well. Brighton, yeah.
them 4-1
Three
or
big
something.
teams, like.
And against Liverpool, they played well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they were unlucky a bit, sorry, but
And these are the sides they're supposed to be matched up against. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of their squad quality
Yeah.
and manager quality, like, Villa are supposed to be a top 8 side.
Yeah.
And so far, so good for Emery, you know.
get the
He's-
right manager in.
And if they make the right signings and they do back them properly, because Villa's a spending club, they
They
do
They will
spend
spend,
money.
yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I think there'll be a few boys that were signed this summer that are going to actually be let go. I can't see Coutinho staying, to be completely
No,
honest.
not a chance.
he's gone.
Not a chance.
He's gone.
I think that's just a waste of wages and a waste of space
I wouldn't be surprised if Coutinho joins Luis Suarez in Brazil.
in Brazil.
Grêmio.
Yeah, they
Good
could
shout, yeah.
could well do.
Yeah.
Could well do. Grêmio could be throwing it back to 13-14.
It just doesn't work. Coutinho just doesn't work for Villa anymore.
No.
He
Doesn't work
when
hard enough.
Yeah, he doesn't work hard enough.
Yeah.
Coutinho was a top quality player, but he was only signed for the fantasy because Steven Gerrard was their manager.
Yeah.
He wasn't signed because they genuinely thought Coutinho was going to be starting and doing 100% every week and
Yeah.
playing unreal for Aston Villa. Like when he first came, look, he played well and he played well against us. But no, Coutinho was never going to be a long-term solution for Aston Villa.
Like, they played McGinn kind of left mid,
yeah.
and like the work rate was unbelievable, and he's up and down that field attacking wise. Coutinho doesn't offer that. He doesn't provide enough defensively, and
That's-
he can't play a Premier League game now with one player that just doesn't do
That doesn't
anything.
do it, yeah.
He can't
And he's
do
not fast enough either to be on
No.
the wing anymore, Coutinho.
Well, I think that's where Danjuma's going to come in, and that's
Yeah.
where you're going to see sort of vast work rate improvements as well.
Like, imagine Emery gets a summer, like this summer, he'll get a big. They're one of the richest clubs in the Premier League.
That's
So-
it. Like if Emery was there at the start of the season, Villa would be in a far different table position than they are.
Oh,
now.
If you're a
100%,
Villa
you know
fan,
what I
you
mean?
need to be excited
Oh
because
yeah, 100%.
top 8 at least,
Yeah.
probably next year.
But he still won't succeed, right, Oren?
Well, look, when I said he won't succeed, I mean he's not going to win any trophies, and he's not going to win any trophies.
I don't know.
I don't know
like-
because he's kind of like a cup manager.
No, he's
Yeah.
not. He's not. He's not going to win any trophies. I know he's a cup manager, but he's not going to win any trophies with that squad, and that's just the facts of it. He could.
But
well
what is
get
what
into-
is succeeding at Aston Villa? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's
If you ask an Aston Villa fan, I would say Aston Villa's expecting to be in the top
8?
4.
Top 4, do you think?
oh, I don't know.
If you ask Aston Villa fans, think they should genuinely be competing for the title, and they should be. They're one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League history. But I would say, look, I'm going to take my term of succeeding back because I think they're a team that can reach the Europa League, the Europa Conference League. I don't think they can get the Europa League just yet. But when I was talking about succeeding, I was talking about Carabao Cup. I was talking about the FA Cup. They're not going to be there. They might be up in the competition, but they're not going to win it.
I don't know. Stranger things have happened.
Look, I'm not saying it couldn't happen. Anything can happen, but it's just my opinion.
You know, they were in an FA Cup final in...
They were in a League Cup final there a few years ago against
Yeah.
City as well.
Mm-hmm.
And 2015, they were in the FA Cup final against Arsenal. And they were poor that day, to be fair, but I don't know. Like, anything can happen. Villa have a decent record in cups, to be fair, so...
I understand
I
that,
don't know.
but it's the same with any team. Any team can have an off day, and Villa seem to have more off days than any other team.
Yeah.
When it comes to the big stage, like they played brilliant in that FA Cup run, and where they made it to the final against Arsenal.
I think they got relegated. No, was it the next year they got relegated? So not Jack Grealish was there.
Yeah, it was. They got the FA Cup final one year, and then they were gone. the next.
That was a great run, like, and then they got hammered in the final, obviously. But
Well, that's it. Like, but they're a team that when they've done so well, and the fans and all behind them, like Villa's fan base is massive.
that,
it's
you're
huge.
right. You're definitely right about that. Like,
Huge.
people don't understand how big of a
Yeah.
club Villa really is, and like their owners are pumping the money in.
Yeah,
And it's
Villa
a great
is
fan
one of
base.
the biggest clubs in the
Yeah.
Premier League.
Oh,
But people think because of their
Honestly.
league position,
It's because they haven't really succeeded. They haven't won anything,
Yeah.
or
Recently.
they've been in the championship a few times.
it's
or
recency bias.
recently, so
Yeah,
look,
fully recency bias.
they have one thing that a lot of other Premier League teams don't have. They have a Champions League.
Champions League. Yeah,
Like, when you win a European Cup, that's it. Like, you're... How are you not one of the biggest teams in
Yeah.
in that country? How are you not?
but look, I do like Aston Villa. and I hope Villa do succeed. I hope Emery proves me wrong, and I hope Villa prove me wrong, because they are a good team. And as a United fan, I hate playing Aston Villa, because I always know it's a 50-50 game.
Yeah.
You're
They've
either
given us
winning or you're
serious
losing.
problems.
There's never going to be a draw in that game.
Yeah.
You're either winning or you're losing. But I hope he does prove me wrong, and I hope he does succeed. I just my thoughts of succeeding was winning a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup in the next 2 or 3 years, because like Villa are a huge club, and they are one of the teams that, and it is the way the Premier League is at the minute as well. Like if Emery was to go on a streak of losing 7 in a row, he's in danger of being sacked. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way the Premier League is now, rather than
You're seeing that with
how Villa are as a club.
you're seeing that with like Potter at the minute at Chelsea. Like,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
pressure just comes on.
It comes on like that.
It's hard to lose 7 in a row in the Premier League, though. You have to be really, really shite.
No, I know, but
Unless you're like Southampton.
I just mean as an example.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason why Villa, if they did have a tough run of games, could lose 5 or 6 in a row and be put out of a cup competition or something.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, it, as Owen always says, and it's so true, the Premier League is a results business. So you need to be winning the games that Emery's winning, and fair play to him, he is, but it just could change very, very quickly. And that's why I don't think any manager could succeed. It wasn't specific to Unai Emery. I just don't think any manager's going to succeed at Aston Villa unless they fully back their team. The way Newcastle are doing, fully back their team. And like Newcastle's second or third? Are they still second?
No,
Because of City's
City
draw?
are second.
City's second. Well, even still, they're still second or third. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just one of them things.
Yeah.
But they could. There's absolutely no reason why they couldn't.
All right, then we'll go to Liverpool and Leicester.
3 goals in the game. Liverpool didn't score one of them and still
Honestly.
won the game.
Honestly. Is there any other team like them? Like?
Serious.
They're the only jammy fuckers to get something like that, aren't they? Like? Honest to God, like. Honest to God. Do you know what, though? I actually thought, take away the 2 own goals, though, I actually thought Leicester were the better team on the night.
Definitely.
Especially first half, they were all over
First,
them.
like you see Dewsbury Hall's goal. How easy was it for them to get through Liverpool's midfield?
Van Dijk got cut out
He did.
up the field, and then Henderson.
They're leaky, man.
What was that? He didn't even make an attempt, and he was straight through.
Henderson in the first half was awful. How many misplaced passes did he create chances for Brighton with, and or for Leicester with? Sorry, and they just couldn't finish.
I haven't been impressed with Liverpool this season. Like even that Villa game, I thought they were at the back. They're so shaky, and it used to be they were one of the best teams. I know Fabinho was missing because his wife had a baby, but even with him this season, they've been very poor. And with Liverpool, I know they're winning, but I could easily see them missing out in top 4. You know, Leicester were missing probably their best player, and they're still creating chances.
And then they got a big injury to Patson Daka, and
Yeah,
Vardy
that
had
was
to come
bad
on.
too.
But when Vardy came on, he played well.
Yeah.
He terrorised the defence of it.
He
but
always gives them problems. Liverpool.
He does.
Yes.
I think he scored. I think that's the team he scored the most goals against in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Could be wrong in
very
that,
good.
but I think he scored 10 goals against Liverpool.
He probably just gets up for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He probably gets himself. He probably has 3 Red Bulls that day instead of 2.
he whams a red ball in them before he gets onto the pitch. Like,
What did you think about Nunez then? He played well, but
Do you want my honest opinion?
13. I seen he's had 13 shots since he came back in 2 games, 0 goals.
look,
I feel like when we talk about Liverpool, we can't really talk about Liverpool because we're Man United fans. Everybody's probably sitting at home thinking, well, of course they're going to be
they're
biased
biased.
against Liverpool.
yeah.
Like, I'll not sit here and say Liverpool's a bad team because they're not. I think we're just watching an aging squad. Like, that's all it is.
It's the high standard as well.
Exactly.
Like what they've been before,
Like,
not the last 3 or 4 years.
Because they have set themselves these standards and because they're not hitting those standards now, it's hard not to have a laugh at them. Do you know what I mean? And yes, that is an element of bias. Do I want to see Liverpool do well? No, do a fuck.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything worse. But I'm not, at the same time, I'm not like they're still a good side. They're just aging. That's the thing. Like they're just getting older. And the one thing that they've always been fucking terrible at is that they're replacing players too late. It's like you said last night in the car on. Better to replace a player a season too early than a season too late. And that's the problem with Liverpool. We're looking at boys that are long past their best. Long past their best. Why is Jordan Henderson still playing for Liverpool? Why is James Milner still playing for Liverpool? Why is
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Oxlade-Chamberlain still playing for Liverpool? Why are these boys still in the squad? They are shite.
Yeah.
Absolute shite. How do you seriously expect to come in against any Premier League opposition with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in midfield and expect to control the game?
Doesn't make sense.
Are you kidding me?
Especially when they've got that young. Is he Spanish? I can't mind his name though.
Oh, he scored against.
He scored against Villa. Like when they've got him, and he came on the other night, and
he
he
was
made
good.
a tackle, and he was up for it. Why would you not start him over Oxlade-Chamberlain,
Exactly.
who hasn't played enough football?
Give the lad a chance. Like.
Yeah.
Like, I had a dig at Harvey Elliott this season.
Yeah.
And again, I'm gonna have another dig. You know, if he can't start over Oxlade-Chamberlain,
Yeah.
is he that great of a player? Really?
Well,
I
Harvey
think-
Elliott did start.
He did, but I mean, like even in midfield, like I just don't rate him at all. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think even when Gakpo and all comes in, like he has no chance getting in that team. They're trying to make him into a midfielder. He's not a midfielder, and he just doesn't contribute enough into the team. I think Liverpool's midfield is. I know Thiago he played okay.
Yeah,
you
Thiago
know.
did play well.
He did play well, but I do think at the back they're defensively all over the shop, and
Yeah.
I think Leicester at least deserved a point.
Look, Liverpool at the minute are a bit pressured with the injury situation. Liverpool, even though we've been saying here that they're
How many times a season do we say this though?
no, I know,
And they never prepare for
But, like,
this.
as well-
no, I
yeah.
understand that, but I mean, what I'm gonna say is about like their defensiveness this season, especially. I think it's being found out because they haven't got the attacking talent up front available to them.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say necessarily that in the past 3 or 4 years that Liverpool have been incredible defensively. It's
Yeah.
just that their forwards have always scored more goals than their defence has leaked. But Leicester were they made their own fate.
Again,
2 own goals,
yeah.
like.
Again, it's like the high standards as well. Like Robertson defensively has been very poor this season, I think.
Yeah.
And Arnold, obviously, he had a good game, but Van Dijk hasn't been as good. Their midfield's getting bypassed. And as you said, Mane is a massive miss for that team.
Yeah.
It's not even the goals, it's the work rate. Like, that's what I know Salah, obviously, great player, scores a lot of goals, but Mane, such a selfless player and was such a key player in
Could have
that
played
team.
anywhere for you as well.
And,
You'll get that back with Gakpo though. That work rate.
Yeah.
You'll see that with Gakpo.
But
He-
Mane, see over them 3 or 4 years was unbelievable and like underappreciated. I felt because he was so good. Like even defensively, like he was working so hard for that team and the goals he was scoring as well. But maybe with Gakpo they will get that back.
Look, I think they will.
Diaz is a big miss too. Diaz is a big miss because
Yeah.
he was one of their better players too. Liverpool would probably fans would be like, oh, bias or whatever. We're still getting the results, but I've seen enough teams like even United, like when you're nicking results, eventually it catches up,
Yeah.
and you'll just go on a bad run of form, and you'll just slide down the table.
I
And this
think
is
we'll
a Liverpool team that was title contenders, like
Yeah.
you know.
I think we'll see Nunes score a few more goals now when Gakpo comes into the team because he'll be playing up front rather than off the left wing. I know you're looking at me funny, like, but look.
I believe in
City
what you're
spent
saying too.
7.
I do
Yeah.
think eventually he will hit form.
Yeah.
Because he does, he gets in the positions, he has the chances, and eventually he will
Yeah,
start
at some
scoring
point
goals.
he has to.
Because at Benfica, that's what they said about him. Like his touch is obviously not the greatest,
Yeah.
but he was such a good finisher.
Yeah.
It must just be a confidence thing, and eventually, like the goal, even he got the own goal, the second one, he chipped the keeper and it came back. Obviously, I was
Yeah.
lucky enough, but still,
I don't think that fella will ever score 20 in the Premier League in a season.
I think he'll score 20 in the Premier League this season.
No.
this season,
No
I don't know
chance.
about this season.
Well, he's already got 9, and there's still like more than half of the season to go. Why couldn't they?
Is it as much as 9? Is it?
Yeah, he's got 9 Premier League goals this season.
He probably could then.
Yeah, he definitely could.
But I was going to say even next season, I think he could just hit form and he'll definitely get over 20.
Yeah,
We'll just have to wait and see.
I know, you never know. Like,
Look, City spent 10 million less on Haaland, and look at the goal return he's given them.
but they're paying him like 800k a week.
Haaland's on another level. Like.
So it was $1 million less of a transfer fee, but they're paying him near enough $1 million. a
But
week.
but I mean, when you just take those transfer fees and compare those numbers,
Did you see that,
You spend 80 million on a striker, he'd fucking better score goals.
Well, that's true, but it was a release clause.
I don't care. You spend 80 million on a striker, he'd better
And
score
also
goals.
Haaland will be away in a year or 2 times. So,
Yeah, no, he probably will.
but did you see that?
But
He's-
even when Haaland goes, that
know.
doesn't make Nunes the best
He-
striker in the Premier League. He's fucking nowhere near it.
like Haaland is the second most Premier League goals in 2022, and he only signed in August.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's
insane.
mental. But
But Nunes is maybe 10th or 11th down that pecking order, no harm. And anybody that tries to tell me any different, you can fuck away on off. You're wrong.
so we can both go away.
No, I don't care. And Liverpool fans can have a go at me. I don't care. He's not good. I'm sorry. He's just not good. And he will not succeed at Liverpool. There's my take, if you will. He won't succeed at Liverpool. He'll be crap. Beji Gakpo scores more goals than him. Because he's 10 times the player than what Darwin Nunes is. useless.
Fair enough.
Useless.
That's
Useless boys, honestly. Right, we'll go to... Who have we got left?
Well, we need to talk
Yeah,
about
he
Wood
did.
Face. He scored 2 own goals.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
comical.
the second one was even. Oh Jesus, what was he doing? He just
Yeah,
panicked.
doesn't make sense.
So the worst thing is, though, he has actually been one of Leicester's better
He
players.
That's
really
what I'm
does.
saying.
He
Since he
really
signed,
does.
they before the World Cup, he was probably like their best back. He
Yeah.
was playing really well, and the first goal as well. The goalkeeper shouts, "Leave it!"
I know.
And he just-
Oh my god, that's what my dad said as well when we were watching
You
it.
hear it?
We,
Leave it.
everybody could hear
Yeah,
it,
leave it.
but he couldn't, and he was right beside him.
And it was just a dreadful mistake. The second one's even like I just don't know what he's doing for that second one. It hits the
Yeah.
post, and he is all day. There's nobody really around him. Panic just kicks it in his own
Yeah.
net,
He
and
must
he
have thought that Nunez was right behind him or something,
Yeah.
or Salah was right behind him.
just kind of panicked. Even
Yeah.
the first goal, probably because he scored the first own goal, he's
I know.
kind of shaky.
Tell you what, though, cracking finish.
Oh, serious finish. The first one.
Oh,
Serious finish.
don't know
Couldn't
how
do
he
it if you
done
tried.
cracking finish.
Company done it against us a few years ago. Yeah.
Cracking goal, but
Fair play to him.
Yeah.
He is Trent Alexander-Arnold got another assist, but it doesn't count again. He's in 3. What was it? 3 assists for own goals or something. Trent's got
he,
this
he, he
season.
just seen the afro, but he thought it was Salah in the box, so
I
he
know.
whipped that in there. So he did.
We'll move on to Manchester United versus Wolves.
Yeah.
So big game for Man United, especially with the other results that happened in the Premier League this week, or this match day. Sorry, United picked up 3 points. Were probably a few years ago, and they wouldn't have.
Yeah.
And they've taken advantage of the top 4 situation into the top 4 for the first time this year. A disciplinary issue left Marcus Rashford on the bench to start the game. We talked about this in the Parlay Sports app, and we were delighted to be joined with Isaac from United Cloud. He has a big following on Twitter and on Instagram, so definitely give it a watch and give him a follow. Connor, what did you think about Rashford not starting but coming on to bounce back and win us the game?
Yeah, it's definitely it's one of those ones where it's a good stamp by the manager, but then it's also a good stamp from the player. I think Ten Hag handled it really, really well. I think it's something that maybe isn't talked about enough. Just how good his man management skills have been this season. I think it was excellent from him. Saying, look, I'm not taking this shit from any players. I don't care whether you're the best player in the team or the worst player in the team. If you sleep in and miss a meeting, you're not going to start, plain and simple. So I really do like that approach from him. Now, when the lineup first got released, I was kind of like, oh shit, no Rashford. Oh, we're going to struggle out here. But in saying that, Rashford then had the perfect response when he was called upon. He just did what he had to do, and he's in such excellent form at the minute. When you watch him in this kind of form, he's just a scary talent. Like,
Yeah.
But that's what Casemiro said as well. Like he didn't realise how good Rashford is.
Casemiro said he's top 5 in the world.
Yeah, if he keeps going, and
Yeah.
even off the field, he's good. Like it's uncharacteristic. Actually, like we slept in. It wasn't like at least it wasn't.
it's
sitting
not
worse,
as if this has happened
It was just a
before.
sleep in,
Yeah.
and I actually liked the way the manager was like, "No, it doesn't matter. You're the best player." As you said,
Yeah.
if you're the best player or the worst player,
You do
if
the
you
same
this,
rules as the team.
You're off. But he's always been like that. I think at Ajax as well, he was like that. But Rashford's just full of confidence, and he's playing unbelievable stuff. But United, as you said, like without him, I know that the first half they were the better team, but without him, they're just not the same team.
Well, we showed that we need a bit of squad depth, but we
Need a
showed
striker.
we need a striker.
Yeah.
But we showed, I thought we showed a lot of promise whenever Rashford came onto the pitch, and I think he's showing more to his game this season than even when he had the 35 goal contributions a couple of seasons ago. He's showing he can really use his strength, he can really use his body, and when he runs at men, there's no defender in the world that will stop Rashford when he actually runs at them. And if they do, they're world class.
Look, the goal he scored, he had a lot to do.
Yeah.
Where he picked up the ball from, he had a lot to do. It was like the same as the goal against Burnley, where he picks the ball up, he has a lot to do to get that ball in the back of the net. It was the same. It was the same against Wolves on Saturday.
Individual class.
Individual brilliance. Like that's all him. Don't get me wrong. The wee pass back into him's nice, but he has to hold off one man, then shrug off another man, and then get composed to slip the ball under Sa, who is a very, very good goalkeeper, mind you.
Very good.
And
The
who
save in the
made-
first half was
Yeah,
very
who
good.
made a lot of nice saves in that game.
Yeah.
On this form, good luck to any defender,
Yeah.
because he will rinse you inside out.
But like with United as well, I think there's just like there's so much more improvement there as well needed. Like because
This is a game we would have lost last
I know.
season.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought Garnacho actually played okay in the first half. He took off, but I was disappointed in Anthony. To be fair, I thought he was very poor.
but I've seen a load of United fans say this, that they're
Oh, no.
disappointed.
Yeah,
But
I said it just there too.
he played well.
No, he
I
didn't.
didn't think he played
He
great.
was- I
like-
thought he was poor. I thought, you seen when Traore came on there, I know he only had like a 5-10 minute spurt, but he went at players and he played really well. I thought
Yeah.
Anthony was a bit. I think maybe that is because, with,
I think Anthony's trying to impress too much.
but do you think it's
unfortunately.
because
But
he's on the same
65%.
side as
Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka? Do you think it's because Wan-Bissaka doesn't offer enough threat, so they can just double Anthony? That's what I was thinking, maybe.
But
But
you know
he
what?
didn't
Like,
track back.
but you know what though?
Yeah.
65% of United's attacks came through Anthony.
Yeah. No, look,
I
They,
know,
they
but-
came down that right hand
he
side.
played better than he did against Nottingham Forest, definitely. And I think he did offer a wee bit, but he needs to track back because I think he left Aaron Wan-Bissaka out a bit to dry the other day. And Wan-Bissaka played well.
Like it's strange. It's strange that we're talking about this because this is a feature of Anthony's game that he was signed for. He signed because he's a hard worker, and he signed because he
I was
he
just-
does it on both sides of the pitch.
He
But
got off to such a good start. I just expect more of him. I just thought I know
Well, that's
he's
what it
involved
is.
in the play a bit, but I thought it was just a lot of. It wasn't like he never really took a man on. It was more backward, slow. I thought he was very poor.
There's no doubt Anthony's going to be a success at Manchester
Needs to be
United,
better, to
though.
be fair.
He needs to. Defenders kind of expect him to be cutting inside and going on his left foot, but because he's so fast and he has all the tricks, like even if he does do that, he's still going to be the defender 8 times out of 10. But look, a bit of competition won't do Anthony any harm. Whenever Sancho's back, I think we'll start to see a real bit of Anthony form, and I think we'll see the real Sancho when he's back because he's been
Hopefully.
taken out of the team completely.
I say he's back to individual training now
in Manchester.
in Manchester this week.
Yeah. And even that there shows Ten Hag's tenure over United as being a success so far as well. And he's taken over the reserve team now too because he wants the flow of young talent to be good and stop players like Anthony Elanga getting into the first team at Manchester United.
God. But to see Ten Hag as well, like that shows his good man management as well. Like he didn't like hang Sancho out to dry really.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, oh, he's not good enough out of my squad. He's trying to get him back in,
Yeah.
and hopefully he does hit form because like Elanga's just not
Yeah, he's not there.
not good enough.
Let's talk about Wolves very quickly. Julian Lopetegui's first home game for Wolves. I thought Wolves showed a lot of promise. And I think if they continued performances like that, look, they didn't get the result, obviously, but if they continue performances like that against other teams in the league, do you see them staying up, Connor?
Oh, they'll definitely stay up. Wolves fans need to count themselves lucky because they have that midfield three is
it's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Yeah.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
Nunez was brilliant the other day.
Nunez is very good, but Neves is
Neves
head
is
and shoulders
class.
above the
Yeah,
rest.
he's
Like,
ridiculous.
like to be fair, I thought Bruno played all right. I thought Casemiro played all right, and I thought Eriksen played all right. But Neves was the best midfielder on the pitch the other
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
He dictated everything, and everything good that Wolves did came through Neves.
Mm-hmm,
Special player, and Neves is a player that has always been linked with bigger clubs and just not made the move yet. But I want to see him at one of the big
Yeah.
boys.
Same.
I want to see him go and play for a massive side because he's just that good.
Well, it took David De Gea to make 3 worldly saves to stop Neves having a hat-trick.
Having a hat trick, yeah.
It shows how good he is. He's always in the positions and how he strikes a ball. He never mishits a ball.
No.
That free kick was
Yeah,
class
that's-
as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
And the half volley on the edge of the box as well. He's a special player.
Wolves are very good defensively as well, but it's just they just don't score goals.
It's the goal scoring that
Yeah.
well, that
They
would
just
worry
don't
me.
offer
Yeah.
a real threat. Like Traore came on first 5 or 10 minutes was getting at United, but they just didn't have anybody in the box.
Yep.
Then they brought Jimenez on. He didn't really do much. He got the header at the end,
Yeah.
but they just don't score goals. They're lowest scorers in the league.
They've invested heavily now in Matheus Cunha.
Well, that's it. Like,
That's what they
I mean, there's no reason why Cunha can't come in and score goals for
Yeah.
them because he's a very talented player
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that he has a lot of really good attributes that I think will suit the way Wolves actually play. So,
Yeah.
look, there's no reason why Cunha doesn't come in and score goals. But he needs to score goals
Yeah.
because he hasn't scored this season.
because
They
he
need
needs it. Yeah, he needs it for himself personally.
Yeah.
But Wolves need it. Wolves need a goal scorer.
Yeah.
It's a real shame that is it Kalasic or Kalajnic?
He
yes,
got injured.
the-
It's a
was
real.
really injured
It's
at
a
the start of
shame.
the season.
It is a real shame he got injured at the start of the season because he actually See when a Traore come on there yesterday, if that fella Kalajic was
He's like 6'8".
That's what they were missing though.
but if he was on the pitch, I bet he would score goals for Wolves no problem.
Yeah,
But like
he
even Jimenez a few years ago, he would have definitely gotten the end of one of them.
Yeah, Jimenez since
crosses.
the injury hasn't been the same player.
Oh. So look, I think Wolves are.
But I think Wolves
are 100%.
I'd agree
Yeah.
too. I think they'll stay up.
It could be a very different Wolves team in the second half of the season.
I think they're a bit like Leicester at the start of the season. They're too good.
Mm-hmm.
Their squad's too good, and as you said, they've got players like Neves, who's
Yeah.
just
a
unbelievable,
different
very
level.
Good player, like.
Same situation as last week. We're going to run through the last few games quite quickly.
No worries.
So first one was West Ham and Brentford, a 2-0 win for Brentford, Richie.
Yeah, I called that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I thought Brentford were too strong for West Ham, and look, I think a real conversation needs to be had about David Moyes and his future at West Ham.
Yeah.
4 losses in a row.
It's just not good. Like,
That's what I mean about the likes of Villa though and Emery.
Yeah.
It is a results business. And 4 losses in a row, and we're talking about David Moyes should be sacked, and I think he should be sacked.
I don't think there's
Just
the
shows how
same,
easy it can be.
but I don't think there should be the same expectations at West Ham as what there is at Aston Villa.
But they did spend
Over the last
big,
few years,
They
though,
did spend big in the
what
summer.
they
Spent
spent,
over like
yeah.
165 million in the summer.
I just think Villa's a bigger club.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
No.
I'm not doubting that, but I just mean like in the Premier League, like 4 losses in a row, and he should be sacked. And it can happen at any time.
But it's like the spend in the summer. They spent 165 million, and the signings just have not produced.
No, they haven't.
You know, and Tony was again unbelievable, goal and assist. He obviously got injured at the end, but he has just been a star performer for Brentford, and he's involved in like since he's been in the Premier League, he's been involved in like 45% of their goals. Like he's just been.
He is Mr. Brentford. Like,
Yeah.
And look, whenever he does inevitably get this ban, like it's going to be a huge blow for
That's the
Brentford.
problem.
Massive.
Who do they have in?
They need to
instead?
buy someone in January.
Yeah.
Massive.
Need to.
and like that's the thing. It's like it's all well and good us sitting here saying they need to buy someone in January. They need to buy somebody of Tony's quality,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be hard to go and do.
That's a 40-50 million pound player. Like,
Costly and but you were saying Tony could have got a big move there too.
Well, I think he will. I think Tony.
I
I think if Tony
depends on the
doesn't get
ban, though.
banned,
Yeah.
if he doesn't get banned, I think Tony will be away in the summer.
yeah.
So do I.
Another big shock result was Newcastle and Leeds 0-0. Newcastle had a lot of chances, but just couldn't get the job done. Dorman.
Yeah. Newcastle dominated the game, just couldn't score. Meslier was unbelievable, made 5 saves. It's actually weird to see Leeds actually get a clean sheet because that's not the way they're like. But the setup defensively, Trippier again was very good for Newcastle. Newcastle are so good at the back. Again, probably missing Wilson. I know he came on, but he should probably, he's always injured, but should be starting. Disappointing for Newcastle, but I think Eddie Howe came out and said it. That's how far they've come. That's a really bad result.
Exactly.
And this season he's been unbelievable, and their home record's been unbelievable too. The third most points this year, 2022 at home.
They've only lost one game all
Only
season.
lost one game. Up there with Liverpool and City. So I think top 4 is going to be tough for them, but they're so defensively sound. If they could just get Wilson fit and he starts scoring goals, and St Maximum as well back. Obviously Almiron's been very good and Joe Linton's been very good, and Bruno obviously. But disappointing result, but things are looking up for Newcastle.
Yeah. Richie, anything to add?
It's just look, it's hard whenever your first choice strikers are missing. You know what I mean? Like whenever you've no Isaac and you've no Wilson.
Some drop to Wood, like
It is like there is a big drop off there, and look, Chris Wood's all right. Like he's
He'd
good
do
for
your job.
He'd do your job, and he's good for a goal here and there, but he's not a consistent goal scorer. So it's always going to be tough when you're missing your goal scorers. But yeah, look, I mean they completely dominated the game. They are different gravy when they're in possession.
Yeah.
I've never seen Newcastle this good. Like
And it's good to see because like Aston Villa, Newcastle's one of the biggest teams in the Premier League.
absolutely.
And their fan base is massive.
And their fan base is
it's
huge.
Good to see.
Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. Bournemouth losing 2-0 at home.
Again, that's another one I called.
Called it, yeah.
It's not one I called. I think Palace needed that result after two very poor results in their last couple of games. They needed that result, and they got the result. And they play the better football. I think it's a wee bit funny now that Gary O'Neill has got the permanent job, that Bournemouth now look like a completely different side.
yeah.
It's like when Ollie was the assistant manager at United and he went on that massive win streak, but the minute he got the permanent job, it was like, okay, job done.
Yeah,
like,
honeymoon period's over.
we can be shit now. Like I feel like this is Bournemouth now. It's like honeymoon period's over, and it's like, okay, let's go
Bournemouth.
back to being shit again.
Yeah.
We're the real Bournemouth now. Like it's just strange in that sense. But they even look like they're playing a different style of football, and you're like, oh,
They don't look as good going forward.
yeah,
now, and
you're like, don't change what worked.
Yeah.
Because what was working for you was working for you, so stick with it. Like,
yeah.
you know, you put 3 past Spurs,
Yeah.
so stick to what you were doing previously, and you should be okay. But again, look, they just don't have the same quality of player that other sides in the Premier League have, so it's always going to be an uphill battle for a side like them.
And what do we think in general consensus of the staying up this year?
no.
No,
I've been saying it for a while. I think
can't see
they're
it.
going down.
Yeah,
Their squad's not good enough.
Forest, Bournemouth, and
Southampton.
Southampton.
Yeah.
They're easily the 3 worst.
That's probably their worst performance all year too, except for probably the Liverpool game where they got beat 9-0.
No, yeah.
But I think Gary O'Neill came out and said that's the worst performance he's had since he's been the manager,
Yeah.
and I don't know what's hot. Like, they're just not good enough. I think they lost 6 or lost 7, and I struggle to see where they're going to get any more points this season. And I think United next will be tough.
The final game of the match day was a big result for Nottingham Forest. A 1-1 draw against Chelsea. Huge result for Forest at home. They've taken some good results at home this year. What do we think about that, Richie?
I have a smile back on my face because I can slag Chelsea again.
We love it, lad. Mount and Havertz. We're back.
Honestly, I did say last week, I did give them their dues. They played really, really well against Bournemouth last week. As Connor said, though, it was Bournemouth. Don't read into that too much. But when I give them their dues, I'll call them out when they're bad. They were poor.
Yeah.
Second half especially. Oh,
Chelsea are not a good team. Like,
yeah.
they are not a good, for all the money they spend, they are woeful. Like, absolutely woeful. You don't fear Chelsea. Like, if I was any other team in the Premier League, I wouldn't fear Chelsea. They've a handful of good players. I don't think there's any Chelsea player that's. I don't think there's any Chelsea player that breaks into that world class bracket. They've a few good players, but a few good players isn't going to carry you through. Like, Chelsea will not make the top 4 either.
No, they'll be lucky to make. I think they'll be lucky to make top 6.
Chelsea will be lucky to make the Europa League.
Yeah, 100%.
Genuinely, they are crap.
See, second half, they were woeful.
Oh my
Like,
God.
They just don't. Like, you're playing Nottingham Forest, who just lost United 3-0, one of the worst defences in the league, and you offer nothing going forward. 2 shots on target the whole game. And the goal was a fluke. It hit off Bowley and then it deflected down. I thought Forest actually were the better side, especially with Gibbs White, who was very good. But yeah, Chelsea would be lucky to get top 6. And Mount again, I thought was very poor. Havertz was awful.
I don't think Mount even knows his best position, to be honest. Because one week he's out on the left, then he plays at the 10, and then yesterday he was playing at the 8. Do you know your best position, lad? Like, do you?
Yeah, that's it too.
Like, you need to be going and telling the manager, this doesn't suit me. This is where I am most effective. I mean, the manager should know that himself anyway. He should know where his players are most effective.
And Potter,
You can't. This whole chopping and changing thing, this whole playing players in 5 different positions, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Pick a fucking position and play them in it.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Well, Richie, I'm going to call you out a wee bit here, so yeah.
Right, go on ahead there, lad.
You made an opinion in one of our first episodes about a player that Dorman's just mentioned, Morgan Gibbs White.
You listening back there? Are you listening back to a few episodes? You trying to catch me out?
It's done enough to me, so I need to do it to someone else. Have you changed your opinion on him?
Yeah. Look, I know one game's not enough to completely sway my opinion. Don't get me wrong. The price tag was massive.
Yeah.
And,
it was huge.
And, he is not worth that amount of money.
Yeah.
So that's always going to stick in my mind. You know what I mean? I'm always going to be like, you were completely overpaid for.
Yeah.
And
he couldn't start for Wolves.
he couldn't start for Wolves. Yeah. You know what I mean? And look, don't get me wrong. It's like we were just saying there, that Wolves midfield 3 is fantastic. He probably wasn't going to get into it anyway. Well, as a long-term replacement for Moutinho. Yeah.
I'm actually thinking now, why did they sell him?
Sell him, yeah.
Because he is, even against United, how different Forest are without him.
It's because they didn't want to. They didn't want to sell him.
But he wanted to play.
But you couldn't turn that
40
amount of money
million
down
pound
for a guy who was
on loan at Sheffield United.
Exactly. You just couldn't turn that money down.
True, yeah.
Look, he definitely has some really, really good attributes. He's quite physical. I didn't realise how strong he was.
Pinger of a shot on him too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's as clean as you're going to see a ball hit this year. It's a shame that didn't go into the back of the net, to be honest. But yeah, look, I think it's apparent when he doesn't play for Forest that they're like a different side. But when he does play for Forest, Forest look like they could actually score
a
goals.
bit more attacking.
They definitely offer a wee bit more. I think, again, look at how many teams do we say this with? I think if Forest could manage to get themselves a decent goal scorer, I think they might be okay. Like, it's really weird. We were talking about him last week. Sorry, Awaniwi. His XG this season is something like, it's honestly, lad, it's something crazy. Like, he should have scored like twice the amount of goals he's actually scored. Like, if he could actually find the back of the net, they might be all right. But the problem is, he's kind of like Nunes. He gets in the right positions, but he just doesn't put the ball in.
Your boy Johnson yesterday too. He has the pace to
Greedy.
get in behind, but
he's poor.
he missed.
Greedy.
Like even I think it was at 1-0. Like he was in the player was in.
And he could have scored it that one.
Squared it.
Could have squared it.
I mean, 1-1,
and he didn't.
missed it.
Yeah.
But I think Potter now as well. Like he is under serious pressure, and I thought like the one like they done well at the start, but their last like 7, I think they have like 1 win, 3 draws, 3 losses. Like that's, and not Chelsea, they'll get rid of you quickly. And as you saying, he's trying his best. He's chopping and changing, but it's not working. He's trying guys in their own position.
It's not working.
And you know, they're just Chelsea are just not good enough in the play City now. Next 2 games, play them in the league and the FA Cup, and if they get a few,
and they're gonna get smashed.
yeah,
They are going to get absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
he could be under serious.
He could be
pressure.
under serious
I think it'll be
pressure.
come down to the Champions League as well. They're in the last 16. If that doesn't go well,
Who do they play?
AC Milan, I think. Is it AC
No,
Milan?
Spurs.
No,
are best
Oh
in
no,
Milan.
it's Spurs. Good AC Milan.
I'll look it up here.
If it's somebody semi-difficult, they'll get beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, I think even the FA Cup's going to be a big factor.
That's the thing as
in
well. Yeah.
Potter's thing, because
Because they got booted
he
early in
needs
the
to
League
win
Cup.
something.
In the League Cup, they got put out too very early. So, yeah, he needs a cup run or something. But City, I think they play City away in the FA Cup. It's not going to be easy.
No, it'll be difficult for them. Like, just trying to find who it is they're playing in the Champions League. Dortmund.
Dortmund will beat them.
Yeah. Imagine Bellingham against that midfield. He'd just
Yeah.
destroy them.
Dortmund will beat them.
Could well do.
Easy.
Could well do.
That'll be easy work for Dortmund.
Yeah. Look, Potter could be under. He could really be under pressure in the next few weeks, few months.
And it's silly to say that because like the man needs time and he
Yeah.
needs to get his own signings into the team. We keep saying it every week, but he is playing with Thomas Tuchel's team. He's not playing with his own team.
Yeah.
But they're bad.
Yeah.
He needs a summer transfer window, really. But
Yep.
at Chelsea, they might not give it to him.
It's the same argument people gave, when people would talk about Man United and they would say, "Oh, look, United spent $1 billion on transfers, but the billion's not on the pitch." Yet Chelsea have probably spent $1 billion on transfers as well, and it's not on the pitch.
Yeah.
Not on the pitch. You know, so I mean, look, their best player is a fucking 38-year-old centre back.
I was going to say that their best player yesterday was Thiago Silva. Without him, they would have lost that game 100%. So,
You know, like this is Chelsea. This is a team that's renowned for
Yeah.
being one of the best sides in the Premier League, and they're just not. They're just not. Honestly, they're lucky to count themselves as a top 8 side at the minute. Yes, they're poor.
No, I would be inclined to agree. Shall we move on to the predictions? Richie, if you want to run us through the predictions this week.
Yeah, no worries.
Or sorry, we'll go to picks of the week.
I go to picks of the
We'll
week.
go picks of the week and then we'll go for our predictions. So, Richie, your pick of the week this week. Richie's fantasy pick.
I know. Do you know what? I've got 3 out of 3 so far. When I picked Almiron, he picked up points the next week.
Yeah.
When I picked Trossard, he picked up points the next week. And when I picked Rashford there last, Rashford picked up points as well. So I'm on 100% record here, and I don't want to ruin my 100% record. So I'm gonna play it safe. Yeah, look, I'm gonna go for I think the obvious choice at goalkeeper for everybody's fantasy team. So if you don't have this goalkeeper in, you're missing out on some big points at the minute. Nick Pope, defensively sound, makes a lot of saves. He picks up points for number of saves in a match. Believe it or not, his clean sheet bonuses are always in the top 1 percentile of goalkeepers anyway. So if you don't have Nick Pope in at this stage again, you're a silly boy. So Nick Pope's going to be my fantasy pick of the week this week.
And Dorman, your player of the week in the Premier League this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with.
Sorry, lads, I just took a complete brain for it there.
No,
You were both looking at me, and I was like, what are they looking at me for?
no, there's been some good performances this week. Like Polina was very good. But I'm going to go Odegaard. I think he's the best player at Arsenal right now, and I think he's probably one of the best players in the league. 7 goals, 5 assists this season, and again he was superb. Great goal, as you said earlier, and the assist to Martinelli didn't even look. Just first time straight in. outrageous skill, and he's also such a hard worker in that midfield,
Yeah.
which is underappreciated too. And he's a captain, and he's leading by example. And what a signing he's been for Arsenal. I know he was on loan, and then they signed him in the summer there, because there was talk maybe they wouldn't sign him. I think he's more goal contributions already this season than he did the whole of last season. But
isn't it interesting that Norway weren't at the World Cup, but yet they have
quality players,
probably the top 2 players in the Premier League at the minute.
Yep.
It's
crazy.
It's a bit strange, isn't it? It just goes to show if Norway had.
When's the last time Norway were even at the Euros?
I couldn't even tell you.
I know.
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. Yeah. But it's just strange, if they did have a wee bit more talent, they probably could end up being a very
hard side,
very decent side, because they do have the top 2 players in the Premier League at the minute. Haaland's probably the best striker in the world, and I'd say Odegaard's, in terms of attacking midfielders, we were talking about this yesterday, Connor. Like, I would class world class as the top 4 in your position, or top 3 in your position. And on current form at the minute, it's hard to argue that Odegaard's probably not within the top 3 attacking midfielders in the world at the minute.
100%. I think in Premier League, he's been, as you said, Haaland and him have been the 2 best performers this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Saka and Martinelli have been good, but them 2 have been
just different level.
standard.
Yeah, different standard completely.
We're missing McArdle today, and we started a new segment with him last week, which was the cream of the cream boob of the week. And I think the 3 of us, on behalf of McArdle, are going to nominate McArdle as the boob of the week this week.
Definitely. What a fool.
He is a Jaffoole. He said that Manchester United weren't going to beat Wolves. He done it to be controversial, and we all knew he was doing it to be controversial. No other reason. And
just twisty.
Just being twisty.
It's not nice.
Because he wanted to be the one who said, Wolves are going to win, and then we'd come in
have
here.
To admit, these are the stupid games that you lose. Good one.
If Wolves had beat us, he would have sat there all smug.
He'd have been in today.
He would have been in today. Yeah, he would have been all smug. Didn't I tell you?
Do you know what, man? That's why he's not here today.
Exactly, because he knew he was going to get a rinsing.
Coursework day.
He'd have sat up and he'd have said, United were unlucky, and I predicted them.
Yeah, that's exactly what he would have said. All smug.
He'd have come in here grittying or something.
He would have started laughing and everything. But yes, our boob of the week this week is Owen McArdle.
Yeah. But his actual official pick for boob of the week is Fayez of Leicester for the 2 own goals.
Comical.
Absolutely
Brilliant. Comical. So we'll move on to my opinion of the week. My opinion of the week last week stirred up a bit of controversy, which is always good. You got to get people talking.
You were close to being boob of the week last week, but
well, look, we all have our own opinions on who's boob of the week, Richie, and I have a very strong opinion, and I'm looking at him. Dorman.
No,
he couldn't.
I was daydreaming.
Yeah, so my opinion caused a bit of controversy last week. Fair enough. Look, it's an opinion at the end of the day. I don't really know what to go with this week. It's been, look, there's been some surprise results, but I think I'm going to go with what we've literally just been talking about, and it's that Chelsea's going to struggle to even get Europa League football, let alone Champions League football this season. Unless Potter gets the backing this January. I think that's the way Chelsea's going.
Yeah, look, we've just spent 10 minutes talking about how shite Chelsea are, to be honest, so I'll maybe lax up a wee bit here. Yeah, Chelsea's... Look, I'll just finish with my overarching view on Chelsea. Chelsea's poor. They don't have the standard of player anymore. Again, a similar sort of thing with Liverpool. We're watching an aging squad here, and when you are an aging squad, if you don't replace and don't get youth into the side, you're always watching boys at the back end of their career. So, look, for me personally, I don't rate Chelsea, and I don't think Chelsea will be lucky to finish 8th in the Premier League this year.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I've already went off on Chelsea a bit. I just think they're not good enough, and so many disappointing players this season. I think they will probably buy a few players in January, but I don't think it'll be enough. They might come 7th if they're lucky.
Yeah. Well, that's my opinion of the week. I think that Chelsea are going to struggle to even get Europa League football, let alone Champions League football. We're going to finish off with our predictions, and Richie is going to go through the games, which game week starts tonight.
I want to hit just with something though first, by the way. So I went back to last week's episode and I've taken a tally chart. I can almost speak. A tally chart of our predictions. So I'm letting you know this now, and I know McArdle's not here.
Definitely the worst.
We're doing a challenge, okay? So that I'm going to keep a tally mark every week of everybody's predictions and how the results go. The loser at the end of the year is going to have to do some sort of forfeit on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
So it'll be sing a song or something like that there.
Yeah.
And you have to sing the full song.
Yeah. Be a bit awkward, like, but yeah.
Just in the studio, like.
No more stupid picks then.
No, you have to you treat it seriously from now. Okay, so the fixtures start from tonight then. So we're recording on a Monday here. Episode will not be out till a Wednesday anyway, so most of these games will be finished by that time. But they start tonight, and we have Brentford and Liverpool. Brentford at home to Liverpool. Connor, I'll go to you first. Who takes that?
I think the key is Tony playing, which I don't think he will, but I'm going to go for a draw.
Draw?
I think Liverpool are not playing that well this season. If Tony was playing, I would have went for a Brentford win, but I don't think he will, so I'll go draw.
Owen?
Yeah, I agree. If Tony plays, it's a Brentford draw. Or it's a draw, sorry, but if he's not playing, I think Liverpool will win.
Yeah, I'm going to take Liverpool as well, I think.
I think Darwin Núñez actually scores tonight. I think he scores 2 tonight.
No, I'll disagree with you on that.
Do you think Gakpo will start tonight?
I don't think he'll start. But I think he might come on at some stage, maybe last 15 minutes or so. But I don't think he starts.
Klopp was saying about maybe Wolves being his first game. Like they play them in the FA Cup this weekend, so they might not play.
All right then. So from tomorrow, we have 4 games then. Everton at home to Brighton. Oren. Surely there's only one team gets the victory here.
Well, look, Everton went and got a result against Man City, so I'm going to go another draw for Everton at home in Merseyside. Brighton's playing great stuff, so I think it'd be a great result for Everton if they did get a draw. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Everton and Brighton draw.
Okay, Connor.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Brighton win. I think a few players coming back as well. I think they will get the result there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a Brighton win as well. Leicester at home to Fulham then, Oren.
Fulham.
I'll go Fulham.
Yeah, just simple. Fulham.
Okay.
Go draw.
I'm gonna go a draw, I think, as well. Arsenal at home to Newcastle. Now this is a tasty one.
Yeah.
It's a pity too that the United game and the Arsenal game's all at the same time. Because that's that Arsenal game's one
You'd want to watch it.
I want to watch it. Like.
Yeah. I'm gonna go in. I want to say Newcastle's gonna win, but I keep going against Arsenal, and Arsenal just keep winning. So yeah, I'm gonna go an Arsenal win, a marginal win.
Like this is a massive test for Arsenal here.
Huge game.
Look, I'm telling you, say if Arsenal win this game, there is no one who that watches the Premier League can say that they're not title contenders. If they beat Newcastle, that's it. Like they have a realistic shot at winning this thing. Like,
do you know what? I'm actually going to change my decision. I'm going to go draw because I thought we picked up a draw, and I think looking back on that now, that's a huge result for us against Newcastle. Look, we probably should have won the game 2-0 because we had 2 late chances, but I'm going to go draw.
You gonna say draw?
Yeah.
Connor?
Yeah, I'm going to go Arsenal. They've won every game at home this season in the Premier League, and they're just in crazy form. I know Newcastle are playing well. Wilson probably be back playing, but I think Arsenal's just too strong, and I think Arsenal could even extend the lead maybe.
Yeah.
It'll be 10 then, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Arsenal.
I'm gonna go Arsenal too. I just think Arsenal have that bit more than Newcastle. And again, I know Newcastle played fantastically the other day, but that lack of a goal scoring threat that worried me. All right, then United and Bournemouth. Oren?
Easy United win.
Yeah, Connor.
Yeah, United. Easy.
Yeah, United all the way. All right, then on Wednesday night, then we have Southampton at home to Nottingham Forest. Relegation battle here, big 6-pointer.
Massive game.
Big 6-pointer. Oren, who are you taking? Forest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go for Southampton because I think Forest just aren't clinical enough for the goal, and I think Southampton will nick a result.
I'm going to say draw.
Yeah. I think Forest will get... Like, Forest only have one away goal this year, but I think that's going to change.
To me, this screams 0-0. Leeds at home to West Ham.
Leeds.
That's another big game. Like,
yeah.
I keep saying West Ham's going to win one of these weeks, but yeah, I'll go Leeds.
It's tough to go down the road anyway.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm
It
sick
always
of,
is.
Doesn't
I'm
matter
sick
where
of,
they
like,
are on the table.
I think I went for the direction West Ham beat Brentford, so I'm sick of them letting me down.
Yeah.
So I'll just go Leeds.
I'm going to go Leeds as well, to be honest. I think West Ham's poor.
Yeah.
And Leeds are not too bad.
There's
They're
only
improving. Like,
2 points between them, though. in the
Yeah.
league. Yeah.
defensively, though, Leeds look a bit better as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Aye, the
It's,
they can
it's a
sound that
different
up a
Leeds
bit.
team than it
Yeah.
was under Marcelo Bielsa.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bielsa was crazy, just
Yeah.
attacking wise.
Yeah.
So
Look, like Marsh just needs a wee bit of time to implement his style and get things right. But I actually like the few times I've seen Leeds this season, they've been all right. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they don't strike me as a team that are in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all right. Aston Villa at home to Wolves. Again, that's another
Good game.
these are good,
Good
games.
game,
These are
like,
tight
you know.
games. Yeah.
I think Villa's gonna pep that one just because they're a home crowd, playing decent football. Yeah, Villa's gonna win that in my opinion.
Connor?
Yeah, I go Villa as well.
You're gonna go
They're
Villa.
playing better, and Wolves are struggling to score.
I'm gonna take Wolves. I just think
Even off the back of a result against Spurs and then them losing to us
yeah,
first.
yeah. I'm gonna take Wolves. Just to have a wee niggly feeling that they'll get a result there.
Mm-hmm.
Palace at home to Spurs.
Palace at home. It's tough. Like we keep talking about Spurs, if they concede first and whatever, I'm gonna go draw on that game.
Draw.
Yeah.
Connor.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Palace because Spurs are
Brutal.
awful and the attacking wise have been terrible. So if Kulusevski's back, then they probably could get a draw. But I'm gonna go Palace.
I'm gonna say Spurs. Spurs have this real weird thing where like they lose a game and then they bounce back and then they lose a game and then they bounce back. So I think I'll take Spurs. And then finally the last game of the Premier League game week is on Thursday night. Chelsea at home to Manchester City.
City all day.
Yeah, I bashed Chelsea, so it has to be City easily.
Yeah,
City all day.
yeah, City. That's light work for
Good
City.
fixtures, though. They're good fixtures. Like,
Yeah,
all
are
the-
good fixtures.
The league is very tight, especially near the bottom.
That's sort of like
Competitive.
that's about as premier as the Premier League gets there.
That is.
So it is. They are some good fixtures. Right, I think that'll do it then. Listen, thank you very much for listening, and once again, thank you so much for all the support that we've been receiving. Again, just totally blown away with the support. We keep saying it, but you know, for the year of 2023, we would like to break into the top 100 sports podcasts within the UK. Currently 121st, so we would appreciate if you just stream the fuck out of us, to be completely honest, and try and break us into that top 100. You can find us on the Parlay Sports app on the Apple App Store. That's PRLY. Parlay is an app that wants non-hatred and inclusivity within football conversation. You come on, you create videos on the app. Look, your videos can be about absolutely anything. Our videos tend to be sort of immediate match reactions.
United match
Straight
reaction.
away after
Yeah.
the Manchester United games, we normally do a quick 5-minute react.
They're really fun to do. Just
And they are,
put
they're
an opinion.
they're fun.
back and
You
forth,
just
yeah.
get them out there.
Yeah, it's easy to talk straight away rather than doing a full
Podcast
podcast
on it,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And Parlay gives us the opportunity, like we were talking about working with Isaac there. Like we've big names that we could be working with in the near future.
Exciting.
And that we will
And
be working with.
And Parlay has given us the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So why not join us on Parlay and have a chat with us?
Yeah, and get yourself in. Like this is where you have a chance. You can openly meet some of the biggest
Football
content creators out there.
Yeah.
Like there are people on this, guys. There are some massive names on this app. Like
And Parlay is giving you, not just us, Parlay is giving you,
You the chance.
opportunity to talk to these people.
Exactly.
And to talk to us. So get yourself on there. We cannot recommend it enough. It is a phenomenal app.
yeah, and it's honestly, I think it's something that I just thoroughly enjoy being a part of. And
We take such pride.
feeling like we're a part of the Parlay family is it's
Definitely.
just
But
different.
it's,
It
it's
just
also
feels
really good.
different.
Like, just like after watching a match, just having a chat. It's like
Yeah.
just with your mates.
Exactly. And the dialogue between the people who run Parlay Sports and us is so open and so direct and so lovely. I think I speak on behalf of everybody at the bottom bits here that we take great pride in being founding members of the Parlay Sports.
Yeah,
And they're
100%.
great with feedback and all. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
They're willing to change for what the people want it to be.
Yeah.
They want this to be the people's app, the fans' app for football.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can't recommend it enough.
No, it's fantastic. And again, folks, you'll find us on all major podcast outlets. That's Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Pocket Casts, just absolutely anywhere you can get a podcast, we are probably on it. So, look, thank you once again for the support. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you have been enjoying the content. Premier League, like we said, it's going to be reactions
It's
after
back, baby.
after every match week.
Great to be back.
Yeah,
Premier League.
we're going to have your weekly transfer roundup as well on the Bottom Bins Extra, so stay tuned to that. There was some big transfer news actually over the past couple of days, so we'll definitely need to talk about that, to be completely honest. Yeah, listen out. We're going to have our regular weekly uploads on a Wednesday and a Friday, so always keep it Bottom Bins.
Keep it bottom bins.
Keep bottom.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.